If you want awesome products at great prices, check out the description. Glastonbury Festival organizers expressed profound dismay over comments made by punk duo Bob Vylan during their Saturday performance at the West Holt stage. The incident, which involved chants of death to the IDF, referencing the Israel Defense Forces, sparked immediate controversy and prompted a swift response from festival organizers who emphasized their commitment to a festival ethos of hope, unity, peace and love. The duo's frontman, Bob Vylan, identified himself as a violent punk, further fueling the uproar. His statement, "Sometimes we have to get our message across with violence because that's the only language some people speak, unfortunately," added another layer of complexity to the already contentious situation. The performance, initially broadcast live on the BBC, was subsequently removed from its streaming services, with a BBC spokesperson characterizing some of Vylan's comments as deeply offensive. This action followed a preemptive decision to not broadcast live the subsequent performance by the Irish rap trio Kneecap, due to concerns about breaching impartiality guidelines. Simultaneously, Avon and Somerset police announced an ongoing investigation into both performances to ascertain if any offences had been committed. The intense scrutiny extends beyond the immediate aftermath of the controversial performance. Emily Eves, Glastonbury's organizer, issued a joint statement strongly condemning Bob Vylan's words, unequivocally stating, "As a festival, we stand against all forms of war and terrorism. We will always believe in, and actively campaign for, hope, unity, peace and love." With almost 4,000 performances at Glastonbury 2025, there will inevitably be artists and speakers appearing on our stages whose views we do not share, and a performer's presence here should never be seen as a tacit endorsement of their opinions and beliefs. However, we are appalled by the statements made from the West Holt stage by Bob Vylan yesterday. Their chants very much crossed a line, and we are urgently reminding everyone involved in the production of the festival that there is no place at Glastonbury for anti-Semitism, hate speech, or incitement to violence. The incident quickly escalated into a wider political debate. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemned the comments, labeling them as appalling hate speech, and called for accountability from the BBC. He stated, "There is no excuse for this kind of appalling hate speech. I said that Kneecap should not be given a platform, and that goes for any other performers making threats or inciting violence. The BBC needs to explain how these scenes came to be broadcast." Health Secretary Wes Streeting echoed these sentiments, describing the chants as appalling and demanding answers from both the BBC and Glastonbury organisers. However, Streeting also directed criticism towards Israel, stating, "Firstly, I do think that if I take the equivalent of the war in Ukraine, I'm unequivocal about which side of that war I'm on. I want Ukraine to win. Would I be celebrating or chanting for the death of Russian soldiers? No, I want to see an end to the war, and I want to see an end to the conflict. I'd also say to the Israeli embassy, get your own house in order in terms of the conduct of your own citizens and the settlers in the West Bank." So, I think there's a serious point there by the Israeli embassy I take seriously. I wish they'd take the violence of their own citizens towards Palestinians more seriously. The controversy surrounding Bob Vylan's performance unfolded against a backdrop of wider pro-Palestinian sentiment expressed throughout the festival. Several artists, including CMAT, The Libertines, Gary Lineker, Joy Crooks, TV on the Radio, Sorry, and Paloma Faith, openly expressed support for the Palestinian cause either through verbal statements or visual displays of solidarity. The musician Nadine Shaw's performance featured a backdrop depicting the destruction in Gaza, and she read an open letter from Artists for Palestine UK supporting Palestine Action, an activist group slated for potential proscription as a terrorist organisation by the UK government. The letter asserted, "Palestine Action is intervening to stop a genocide. It is acting to save life. We deplore the government's decision to prescribe it." Labeling non-violent direct action as terrorism is an abuse of language and an attack on democracy. The real threat to the life of the nation comes not from Palestine Action, but from the Home Secretary's efforts to ban it. We call on the government to withdraw its prescription of Palestine Action and to stop arming Israel. Shaw highlighted the potential legal repercussions of her statement, noting, "And if I read this out after July 4th, I can potentially be prosecuted for that." The Israeli embassy issued a statement on X, expressing deep concern over Bob Vylan's performance, stating, "We are deeply disturbed by the inflammatory and hateful rhetoric expressed on stage at the Glastonbury Festival. Freedom of expression is a cornerstone of democracy. But when speech crosses into incitement, hatred, and advocacy of ethnic cleansing, it must be called out, especially when amplified by public figures on prominent platforms." Chants such as "Death to the IDF" and "From the River to the Sea" are slogans that advocate for the dismantling of the State of Israel and implicitly call for the elimination of Jewish self-determination. When such messages are delivered before tens of thousands of festivalgoers and met with applause, it raises serious concerns about the normalization of extremist language and the glorification of violence. The Glastonbury incident has ignited a complex and multifaceted debate encompassing freedom of expression, the limits of acceptable speech, and the role of music festivals as platforms for diverse viewpoints. The fallout continues to unfold, with lingering questions about accountability, the future of similar performances, and the broader implications for artistic expression within the context of political discourse. The multifaceted nature of the controversy ensures its place in ongoing conversations about the intersection of art, politics, and social responsibility. The incident serves as a potent reminder of the complexities inherent in balancing artistic freedom with the prevention of hate speech and incitement to violence. The investigation continues and the ramifications remain to be seen, but the Glastonbury 2023 event will undoubtedly be remembered for the controversy sparked by Bob Vylan's performance and its subsequent ramifications.